friends, and welcome back to the Wardenburg Reads YouTube channel. Today I have the first video in what will, I hope, be a weekly sort of reading wrap-up. I haven't completely decided on a name for the series just yet, but I had a really fantastic suggestion in the comments on my last video, so stay tuned. I'm gonna iron all of that out, but if I wait until everything's ironed out before filming a video, then it will not happen. But yeah, I have a few books that I wanted to talk about today, and then I also had some I have a fun book mail present thing to talk about, and then I have a little bit of admin here right at the beginning. First off, I wanted to note, YouTube recently updated or changed something. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but previously, anytime anyone commented on my videos, I was getting an email about it, so I was able to know and see and read people's comments, and if there were questions or anything, I could answer them. They've stopped doing that. So a couple videos ago, I think it was my summer reads video, I was like, oh man, nobody's commented on this, and I was just a little bit bummed because I love reading people's comments. It's just the sweetest thing. And then I went and checked on the video, and there was like 8 comments on there, and I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. So if I'm a little slow in responding, I'm still getting used to not being notified when there's a comment and trying to remind myself to check and see. So if there's a question or anything, if you want to get in direct touch with me, I'll have my email here on the screen, and you can just shoot me an email instead, because I might just be a little bit slow about comments. And I did just recently realize that I can answer them on my phone without having to have the YouTube app, so that will be a big help. And then the other thing that I wanted to note is that I relatively recently realized that I could find out where people have, like, they call it mentions, where people have tagged me on YouTube, and I didn't know where to find that information before. So if anybody has tagged me in a video and I have not acknowledged it, I do beg your forgiveness because I had no idea. I figured out where it was, and I saw that there were a number of different videos where people have mentioned my channel, which is just the loveliest thing, and I had no idea. So there's that. The fun book thing that I wanted to share with you is that the same viewer of this channel who sent me several Betty Neel's books previously, I made a little video about it, found some more at a fantastic price, and since they were doubles of copies that she already had, she offered to send them to me, and I was very happy to accept. So I think I got these a week or two ago now. It's been a little bit. I meant to share about them in the last video and just completely blanked on that. But she sent me this lovely stack of Betty Neel's books, which I'm very happy about because there are 4 that I've already read and then 4 that I have not read yet. So I'm really, really excited to be able to read those. I just barely started reading Judith. Yeah, so you know who you are. Thank you so much. I am just so happy to have these in my personal library now. And yes, they're not as pretty as like the older versions. The covers are a bit silly, but the books are here, and that's all that matters. I was telling my sister about them, and we were laughing about how they have these like really random taglines, I think you call them, down here, where it's like, Judith, a change of direction, and this one's winter wedding, would she ever have? Like, they're just so silly. Like, Midnight Sun's magic, married, and then love? It has like a little question mark. Like, they make absolutely no sense, so I was dying laughing over those. Like, it's so funny. Like this one, just, Polly, would she ever be? Would she ever be what? Like, I don't know. Anyway, thank you again for these beautiful books. I'm so happy to have this rapidly growing collection of Betty Neel's books. It is just the best. I've been back on a little bit of a Betty Neel's kick again because I've been very, very sleep deprived recently. My baby, he's 11 months old and he's teething, and for whatever reason this round of teething has just been particularly challenging, and so I'm not getting much sleep recently. So especially after that Elizabeth Cadell book that I mentioned in my previous video that was kind of a bummer, I've just been going back to a lot of comfort reads, comfort authors, and just loving it. So there's that. Let's talk about, I have just a few books to talk about. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these videos shorter so I can do them more regularly because I would love to do that. So, like I mentioned, and I keep talking about my other video, but I'm back on a Patricia Wentworth click. And so I guess this video is probably for like the first half of July because it is July 21st, I think. So, or the first 2/3 of July. I read Lonesome Road, Eternity Ring, In the Balance, and Death at the Deep End. Those are all books from the Miss Silver series. But Patricia Wentworth also has, I've mentioned this before, she also has a number of books that aren't, I think she actually technically has a couple other series, but then she also has a number of books that are just standalone books. And they're usually still some sort of mystery / sweet romance book, which I love. So I read Nothing Venture, which I am like 90% sure was a reread for me, but I didn't exactly remember what all happens. But it's the story, oh shoot, I need to, let me pull up the page here, the Goodreads page, so I can see. Jervis, that's what it is. So Jervis has his uncle died, leaving Jervis a lot of money, but then he also put this snippet into his will saying that if Jervis wasn't married within 3 months and 1 day of when his uncle died, then all of the money would go to Rosamond, who is Jervis's like second cousin or something. And the uncle made this will at the time because Rosamond and Jervis are engaged, they're getting married. But then Rosamond dumps him like the day before the deadline is up so that she will get all the money. And so then Jervis has to scramble and find somebody to marry, which of course is the heroine that is introduced at the very beginning of the book. If I remember correctly, it's Nan. I'm almost positive it's Nan, but it doesn't say it right here. I love this book. It is, yes, it's Nan. I love Nan as a name. There's there's been a few different books. I think there's a Louisa May Alcott short story collection that has a Nan in it. And it's just, all the Nans that I have read about in fiction and literature have been like the sweetest characters. And so it's a very like cozy name for me. But anyway, Nan is a girl who is working at the lawyer's office, and the lawyer is the one that is managing Jervis's uncle's will stuff. And she's loved Jervis for years and years and years. I'm not going to go too much into that, but it's just the sweetest thing. And I so thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, there's a mystery. Is somebody trying to kill Jervis for the money? We don't know. Maybe we do. But it is just, yeah, I can't describe it. Patricia Wentworth's writing is just phenomenal. It is so well done, and it is shocking to me how much information she seems to be able to put into like the smallest amount of space without it feeling crammed or rushed. Like, it's just brilliant. But anyway, so that one was Nothing Venture, and then I read another Miss Silver book, and then I read Hue and Cry, which is not one that I have read before. This one was so cool. It's about a girl, I can't remember her name, who goes to be a governess for this family, and then all of a sudden she is being accused of stealing this paper, and she gets all caught up in this whole hue and cry. This whole mess of, is she going to get arrested for theft, and she's being framed for something, and it's just, again, just such a really lovely book. I decided to read that one because I saw in the synopsis that it was something about a governess, and I love the governess trope. It is one of my favorites, but it was phenomenal. And then the next one that I read was The Blind Side by Patricia Wentworth, and again, I'm pretty sure this one is a reread for me, it's actually, it says that it's the first book in the Ernest Lamb series, which in this book it had Inspector Lamb, and it had Frank Abbott, who is in the Miss Silver series. And I didn't connect the dots until literally like 2 minutes ago when I pulled up the Goodreads page and saw that. And I was just like, wait a minute, is the Ernest Lamb series all about whatever it is. I can't remember. Is it Inspector? Let me see. Oh, it doesn't say. I don't know what, yeah, because it's Sergeant Frank Abbott, Inspector Lamb, yeah. And so now I'm really excited. I need to look and see if there are what other books in the series there are, and see if I can find them, because I love Inspector Abbott and, no, Inspector Lamb and Sergeant Frank Abbott from the Miss Silver series. I love them as characters, and so I'm like, oh, I would really enjoy reading the rest of the books in the series if that is what it is about. So I'm going to do some diving into that and find out and see if I can get the rest of the books in the series. Other than that, I have been reading some Betty Neel's books. Like I mentioned, I recently finished The Promise of Happiness by Betty Neel, and then I'm currently reading Matilda's Wedding. And I'm trying to remember if I read another one in between there. I think I did, but I can't remember for sure. Yes, I did. It was Cruise. I haven't written it down yet. Cruise to the Wedding. And Cruise to the Wedding, I'll be honest, it kind of annoyed me because the main guy, Adam, the main girl's name is Loveday, and she is initially working with Adam's ward, Remy. She has a different name that's longer, but her nickname's Remy. Is trying to get married to this guy who's very clearly a fortune hunter, but she wants to get married to him. And Loveday objects to the fact that Adam, as Remy's guardian, is preventing that, and so she says that she's going to help Remy. And it's this whole thing. It really irritated me because in some of Betty Neel's books, and like this one, the main male character is so arrogant and boorish and pushy, and he always gets his own way, and nobody ever like talks back to him on it. Like at one point Loveday pretends to have a headache because she doesn't want to hang out with him, and he as a doctor is like, oh, you have a headache, and so he comes in and he takes her book that she's reading because he knows that she's faking the headache, and he changes her supper plans to some other like very light, not very filling supper. And she doesn't, like, get up and throw something at him. Like, I don't know. It's almost like sometimes the good manners that they have in these books go a bit too far. Like, it just... That one, there's been a few of Betty Neel's books that I have read where it's just like the main guy is just much. Like, he's overly much. The main guy in all of these is always much because he's this fabulously wealthy and attractive guy that is usually kind of haughty and arrogant and blah blah blah, but most of the times they have like a softer, nice side sort of a thing. But in this one, he was just like so obnoxious. And it's so funny to me how some books will be like that and some of them won't. Like in the one that I'm reading now, Matilda's Wedding, I'm really enjoying it. Instead of a rich Dutch doctor, it is a rich British or English doctor, and it's been really cute so far. The worst character is the main girl's mom, Matilda's mom, who's this horrible lady. And so it's been really enjoyable, but it is really interesting to me how it kind of goes back and forth, where there have been a few books where the main guy is just... So, I'm really enjoying being back on my Patricia Wentworth and Betty Neel's kick. That is all that I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for tuning into this shorter video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm hoping to be back next week with another one. Bye!